Okay, hello, everyone, the giant crowd we have here. Hello, thank you for waving. Are you awake? Welcome back. Okay, so today, I know originally on the agenda it said I was just going to cover Panda, but I got a little carried away when making my PowerPoint, and so I kind of extended the theme a bit. But I will cover how to diagnose Panda in your Google Analytics. But this presentation actually was inspired by an argument I was having with another SEO of no one here, but he has a lot of experience. But he was having trouble getting his site to rank, and it had some kind of penalty or problem, and so he couldn't figure out what it was. And so I said, well, I'll take a look. And so he was pretty sure a certain algorithm hit his site. And I was pretty sure that another one did. So this is what inspired this presentation. Okay, see if I can. Okay, so in doing SEO, invariably, a person will come to you and say, "Oh, I bought 50,000 links from Fiverr, and now I have some kind of a penalty. And so what I will do is I will just disavow all my backlinks, and that will fix it, right?" And he says, is this the right thing to do? The answer is no. This is not the right thing to do. Just do not throw all of your links in the disavow file. There has to be some kind of diagnosis ahead of time. If you do not properly diagnose what has hit your site, this is going to be a critical mistake, right? Because what fixes one algorithm is probably going to hurt another one, or what can hurt your site in one way is going to fix another algorithm. So this is a huge problem. You have to diagnose what actually hit your site beforehand. But this is harder to do than one would imagine, but I will show you at least partially how to diagnose some of these problems today with free tools, I might add. Absolutely free. Anybody can do it. So before I do that, though, there's a couple things I want to cover. There's two things that are not known by a lot of people. The difference between a penalty and a demotion. A penalty is a demotion, or a penalty is when your site is hit by the Google manual web spam team. A demotion refers, and this is Google's terminology, not mine. A demotion refers to when an algorithm, Google, Panda or Penguin, what have you, affects the site and brings the ranking down. So the two are different. Now, I often get asked, if I have an algorithm like Penguin or Panda hit my site, can I submit a resubmission request and get the manual team to fix it? And the answer is no, you cannot do that. You cannot do that quite simply because the manual team has no power over the algorithms. It's a different team. The web spam team is not the manual team. So they have no power over the algorithms put out by Google's engineers, and nor would they care to help you even if they did. Okay, so the point of this, that being said, that means that no one is going to fix this except for you. The responsibility of fixing your site obviously lies with you. There's no phone number you can call. You have to be able to fix and diagnose it yourself. So if you have to diagnose it yourself, you have to have the right tools. So if that's the case, how do I diagnose it? Well, no problem. It is easier than eating websites. To diagnose your ranking decrease, you'll need at least, for this example, you'll need two things, Google Analytics and the Moz timeline. I don't know if you guys are familiar with SEO Moz over here. They just changed their name to Moz. And they have a timeline. There's the URL there. It's moz.com/google-algorithm-change. They're both free. That's all you need to diagnose most Google problems in terms of penalties and demotions. Okay, so I'm not going to go through how to install analytics. I assume you all know how to use analytics more or less. You know how to install it. So once you have it installed, you open analytics, and you choose the site in question that you think has a ranking problem or some kind of a penalty. Now, when you get into analytics, you want to go over to the right side, and you want to select the date. And the reason why you want to do that is you want to go back to January 1st, 2011 or so, when all this Google nonsense began. The reason why I go so far back, because if you recall, Panda was released in spring, was it February or March of 2011? Anyway, it was released back in early 2011. And it's been my experience that a lot of people think they were hit just recently by Penguin or Payday Loans or EMD or some algorithm that they read in some blog somewhere. But when you look through their history, they've been hit by tons of different algorithms over the last 2 years. And that gives you a good clue as to what's going on with the site. Okay, so once you do that, you'll get data looking like this. And so this is a traffic pattern, so going back to January 1st, 2011. And this is an actual client site that I analyzed for them. In fact, this is the one that the SEO and I were arguing about. And says, oh, okay, well, fine. Here's the traffic. Am I done? No, you're not done. Of course, you can't just rely on the main traffic from the main screen. You could have other traffic than just Google organic search. In fact, you should have more traffic than just comes from Google organic search. You should try and not put all your eggs in one basket, to use a metaphor. Okay, well, how do I find that? Well, it's easy. Then you would go to the left-hand side, you click on traffic sources, search, and then organic. And from there, you would click source, and then you would select Google. This, of course, is going to give you only the Google organic traffic. And so you see that the traffic didn't change all that much, actually. Most of this site's traffic comes from Google organic search, or at least it did, until you see this problem they had over here. Okay. Oh, by the way, $10 or whatever, 10 Polish dollars, please forgive me, I don't know what they're called, to anyone who can guess right now what that was. Go. No. Oh, you all lose. You don't get the money. No, I'll tell you in a second. But no, it wasn't Penguin. Or maybe it was. Maybe I'm lying. I'm not sure. Okay, so this is not good enough. So now, once we have the traffic, now we need to correlate that with ranking drops, or if they know they had a server outage at some time, or the webmaster was drunk and kicked the server over at Christmas, and that's why they lost all the traffic at that time. So you have to, and also if they received an unnatural link notice. Of course, the unnatural link notice is also known as the Google Love Letter. I don't know if any of you have received the Google Love Letter. It goes something like this. Dear webmaster, I love you. Also, stop spamming. Sincerely, Matt Katz. All right. It doesn't actually look like that. I don't know if you guys got one, but yes, right, presentation. So once you do that, once you correlate the published algorithm releases, when Google was so kind as to tell us when they were releasing an algorithm, you can then correlate that with the data. So for example, so this over here was Panda 2.0 on the exact date, April 11th. This one over here looks to me like it was Panda 3.9.2 or whatever. That's Danny Sullivan's numbering system. But it was definitely right on that date. In fact, it looks like there was even a little bit more of a drop a little bit later with the EMD Panda update on September 27th. That was a bit of a problem there too. But then you see they got a little bit better, blah, 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 all the way into over here. And that was the Phantom algorithm. And when it's called Phantom simply because Google didn't admit to making a release, and so that's just what people have decided to call it. I believe it's Panda, actually, for a number of reasons. Not the least of which, for this particular site, is you see they've been hit by Panda here, hit by Panda here, hit by Panda here. I think this is probably Panda here as well. And plus, I had about 4 or 5 clients similar to this, which had Panda problems and went down on that date. And I had 4 or 5 clients that previously had Panda problems that went up on that date. So, this is just my anecdotal opinion. However, it was Panda. Okay, so despite this SEO, who vehemently argued with me that it's Penguin, it has to be Penguin, it was not Penguin. According to John Mueller, who works at Google, Panda is a quality algorithm and has nothing at all to do with backlinks. So, if this particular site overreacted and disavowed links, in fact, all their links, and they did, and they would in that case, they would have likely have further worsened their rankings, and they did. So, Penguin, for example, has a very different signature and different dates. So, just off the top of my head, the dates for Penguin, as far as we know, are April 24th, 2012, May 25th, 2012, October 5th, 2012, and May 23rd, 2013. Now, after that, they may have tweak the algorithm because, as you know, we're kind of in the summer of SEO hell right now, where algorithms are being released and things are going up and down and nobody knows exactly what's going on. So they could have released Penguin one more time, but we're not sure. And of course, this does not include if they've received an unnatural link notice that they might have, but we do not see any of that in the data, right? Penguin looks more like this. These are actual client sites of mine. Penguin looks more like this. So here they were hit by Panda here, because that correlates with the Panda date, and they have other Panda signals, which I will share in a moment. But this was Penguin here. And this was Penguin here as well, because those correlate with Penguin dates. And they also have other Penguin signals that I will not be sharing today, but if you're joining me in the search training tomorrow, I will be sharing those signals tomorrow. Okay, so Penguin looks more like this and like this. That's the April 24th, and that's the payday loan algorithm there. That was the June 5th to 11th. That's the payday loan algo. This was not a payday loan site, by the way. The payday loan algo is just a name that we gave it, because that's what Matt Cutts called it. But it's an algorithm that hits multiple different spammy or more competitive niches. Okay, and in fact, it doesn't have to be a big waterfall effect. This is another client of mine. As you can see, they do quite a lot of traffic, but they even had the subtle hit here. How's this button work? There we go. A subtle hit here on October 5th, and they recovered more or less, but then they had a very subtle hit over May 23rd here. And then when, you can't really see it very well here, but when you zoom in on just this time frame, it's a little bit more apparent. So that's what Penguin looks like. So you definitely have to check the dates. I mean, it sounds pretty silly when I say it out loud, but you wouldn't believe how many people come to me or how many people I see asking John Mueller questions who have not done this. They have not gone back to their analytics and checked the dates of when it fell and gone to moz.com at the free timeline they've put there and correlate the dates to see more or less what probably hit them. Okay, it makes me do this. I don't know how arg translates into Polish, but it is a exclamation of my being upset. So that's what that means, in case you're wondering what arg means. It's not some crazy English word. Well, I guess it is a crazy English word. I don't know. Okay, so what other factors might indicate that they were hit by Panda? Though there's definitely more factors. And they're easily found in Google Analytics as well. So the three factors are these. You can check the mobile usage, you can check the site speed, and then you can check the high landing page bounce back to SERP plus low time on page rate. So I'll show you the first one. So before we do that though, because again, assuming you're still working in the same analytics, you'd have to go back up and change the date again to something more manageable. You wouldn't want to see the data from the last 2 years, you'd want to see the data from maybe the last month or two, right? So you go back and you change the date. Then you would go to audience, mobile, and overview. And once you do that, you'll get some data that looks like this. It'll tell you what is not mobile and what is mobile. And I see I've highlighted it. So as you can see here, about 30% of their traffic is mobile. Out of the 317,000 visits they had in that last month or 2 months, whatever it was, about 30% of it is mobile. And that's quite a lot. And of course, all predictions say that's going to increase. Not only that, but it doesn't look very good for them because over here, you'll see that they surf around less. They visit less pages on average. They stay less on average. Can you guys read that from back there? Yeah? They stay less on average. They see less pages. They stay less on average. And they bounce more. So this is not good. Typically, this would not be the result of a satisfied searcher, right? People who bounce more and stay less and don't come back. That indicates low quality. And I see this for Panda sites all the time. Pretty much every Panda site that I get has more or less that signature, plus the other ones I'm about to show you. And multiple Google employees, both John Mueller and Matt Cutts, have also warned many times against having a mobile design that is not good enough, assuming that the site even has a mobile design, right? A lot of sites don't even have a mobile design yet. So, are you not worried about this? You think, my site will never have mobile traffic? Check. I bet you do. And Google estimates that by 2015, this was just released at SMX Advanced a couple of weeks ago, that mobile search is going to exceed desktop search by 2015 or earlier in areas that are particularly mobile-driven or demographics that are particularly skewed to young, 18, to 24. It'll probably hit that sooner, right? So I would go and check your analytics to see how many mobile visitors you have coming to your site and to see whether or not they like it or not. Because just because you have a mobile design doesn't mean it's any good. Okay, so now we can go check out the average site speed. So it's quite easy to find. You just go to Content, Site Speed, and click Overview. And from there, we see, yikes, this is not good. This is the average load time for this site is 8.76 seconds. 8.76 seconds it takes on average for this site to load for their viewers. Again, according to Mr. Mueller, Panda is a quality algorithm, and users don't like long waits. That's not typically an indication of high quality, right? So that's another good indication that they've got bad user metrics. But this is not even the best indication that I can show you. There's a much better indication that has a much greater fine-tooth detail. So to find it, it's very easy. You go to Content, Site Content, Site, and then, so Content, Site Content, then All Pages. Now, once you have All Pages, you want to select the primary dimension Other, and go to Traffic Sources, and go to Landing Page. And then you also want to add in more data by going to Secondary Dimension and going to Traffic Sources and clicking Keyword. Now, once you do that, it's going to show you only the Google organic landing pages, because remember, we already tailored it down just to the Google traffic. So it's going to show you only the Google organic landing pages with the keyword that they searched. And of course, it gives you all the data over here, the bounce rate, the page views, all this kind of stuff. Now, what the hell is this not set crap? You can see this stuff here. Well, for those of you who are not aware, not set is the what it says when people have logged into Google and therefore Google is blocking their referrer data. Not provided is when Firefox is preventing the referrer data. And according to Google, Matt Cutts, they strip out the referrer data to, I don't know, something or other, protect people, cough, cough, make more money, make it difficult for us. So I'm not going to speak to that point. But suffice it to say, as it is, we have to deal with it. So if you're dealing with a very small site that had a very low traffic, you can't cut this all out because then you're cutting out important data. So then at that point, I would suggest just leave it in and making your best guess as to what they're probably looking for on that page. It's not hard. Just look at the title. That'll probably tell you what it was probably ranking for, and that'll probably tell you what they were looking for. But if you're doing this for a big site, and this is a big site, I mean, almost 1 million page views is a pretty big site in my books. So I can cut out all this data to get a better look at exactly what's going on. So it's very easy. All you do is you go to Advanced, then you click Exclude, and then you just put a little round bracket, because that'll get all the not set and not data. It'll exclude any string with that little round bracket in it. So after you do that, it gives you a nice little chart that shows you all of your landing pages. So there's the landing pages over here, and with the keyword that they found you for on Google, and it shows you how many page views you had, how many entrances you had, and the average time on page and the bounce rate and all that kind of great stuff. Now, to sort it, what you do is you click bounce rate first so that you can see what pages are low quality. You click bounce rate first so it descends, sort descends, and then you go down here to 5,000 results. Because a big site like this, you're going to have 10, 15,000 results that look like this. I repeat, for a big site like this that's been hit by Panda, you're going to have 10 to 15,000 results that have this bounce rate and this average time on page. Are you getting the picture yet? So this is going to show you all the pages that Google searchers landed on and what they searched for, and if they bounced back to Google, never to return. And so the question is, if they did that under 5 seconds, do you think they possibly could have found what it is they're looking for? Now, given that on average this site doesn't even load until 8 seconds, that these people are bouncing at 0 seconds before the JavaScript even has a chance to fully load, probably does not indicate that they found the information they were looking for. And this can add up. I mean, for this particular site, I can scroll down and down and down, and just their index page here, all the stuff they were ranking for and that people were going to the site for, it all adds up when you add it up going down. And not only that, but there's some pretty big numbers just chunked in the middle. So people were looking for this on that site. This page was ranking for it for a while, not anymore. And all these people, 100% of them, 41 people bounced under 0 seconds, well, at 0 seconds because the JavaScript hadn't fully loaded yet. And I know analytics data is not the most accurate, but so even if that is off by 5 seconds, fine. I'll give you that, granted. Let's say it's off by 5 seconds. It's still not enough time for them to get the info that they need. And there's 41 of them, and notice they didn't come back. This is visits. If they'd come back, this number would be higher. So they came here to this page looking for this. All of them went back to Google. They clicked the back button, back to Google, under, who knows, 8 seconds probably, because that's the average load time. So we can guess that they probably did not get the information that they wanted. And this is my question for you. Do you really think that sites that have metrics that look like this is what Google thinks a high-quality site is? Do you think that for a very long time they're going to allow a site to be ranking page 1 that a huge number of traffic is bouncing from? I don't personally think so. Okay, so to sum up, these are my points for today. 1, for all of the beer and hockey in Canada, diagnose your site before you delete your links, or before you delete whole sections of your site, or before you disavow all of your links. Because apparently it's supposed to do something, and probably not good. You can't fix a problem if you don't know what the problem is. So, and also don't assume that the latest trend or the latest new problem or the one you just read about is what has hit you, and don't assume that it's the worst problem that's hit you, because as you saw to a bunch of those sites that I was doing analyses for, multiple algorithms hit them, right? Not just one, but multiple ones over the course of a couple of years. And so don't assume that's your only problem or the one that you should focus on. Finally, SEO, who was arguing with me, don't disavow links without knowing what you're doing. And 4, eat cookies. Thank you.